This is a great moment. As we've all been waiting for over the last 3 days, we've come to the moment where we talk about how we together really take action and make a difference. And to hear this commitment read out loud, thank you to all of the readers. It was really moving, really inspiring. And we hope that, that those of you who are participating feel the same. What we would like to do now is to invite a conversation with everyone who is joining us today, all 1,000 people, if you will. Share with us your reflections, your thoughts, your reactions to this, our promise to action, the commitments to action, the 13 million campaign, and the virtual platform for faith and spiritual leaders, communities, and FBOs. You can write into the Q&A or the chat, and we can share that. I can read it out and share it with others who have joined here. I believe we have the ability to give some people speaking privileges. So is that, I'm looking at my colleagues now, we may be able to allow some people to speak. Okay, so should they write into the chat that they would like their mics opened? Perhaps, just let us know, and we will certainly try to open your mic and see if we can figure out that technology as we go. So with this, perhaps I could see what's coming in. We're seeing thanks, I appreciate that. That this is action-oriented, which we agree. The goal for all of us has been that this is only the start of a conversation, that we now commit to action and move forward together in the spirit of the last 3 days. I don't see any chats coming in yet, and I wonder if any of the people who are part of the organizing team would like to make any comments. I see Father Rick, I see David. Can we open the mic for David to share his thoughts with us?
Yeah, I thought one of the really important things that came out through the 3 days was the importance of training for local faith leaders. This was something that Rick pointed out on yesterday, and Archbishop Makoba said the same thing. We've heard it also from places in Ukraine and India. So this to me seems like it's a really important thing to do, and it should be based on best practices, not only about providing care and support, but also about how you deal with the complicated issues like stigma and engaging with marginalized communities. So that's, to me, that's a very strong recommendation coming out of this conference.
Hi, Laurel, it's great to see you. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to answer a lot of the questions, you know, and people excited, what can I do? And it's great to think about training programs for clergy, and we've got to do. But everyone here, those of you that are members of a church, a mosque, you know, a yoga group, whatever, you can leave this conference, go back and speak to your leader about your work in HIV. Just begin the dialogue. We don't have to wait for the funding, the resources, and the planning for a 3-day seminar. Have a one-on-one with your imam, priest, pastor, guru that you can talk to about your work with HIV, and you can do this tomorrow or over the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to see you too. And let me hand the mic immediately over to Stuart so that we can keep moving. Please go ahead.
Hi, Laurel, and thanks for your support for this whole conference. I just really wanted to say we've heard so much, it seems so rich, the discussion, and what I think we really want to try and do is to make sure that we hear more of these stories, get more of these stories documented, and that doesn't need to be necessarily in detailed research, but I think we need to try and capture the richness and the contribution, the results, the impact that faith communities, the religious leaders have had, so that we can show examples in many countries of the role and contribution that's made. And hopefully those will then be shared on this new interfaith platform, and that will help us to share during the webinars and can provide the evidence that we need, for example, for the new UNH strategy that we want to try and contribute to, and to really try and build up national level commitments. So let's document what we're doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I want to say a quick announcement. I'm noticing that people can't always access, not everyone has access to the chat. So if you have comments, just put them in as a question. You don't have to ask a question to use the question function. So please feel free to just use the question function to add your comments. And I wanted to just build on something that Stuart was just saying, which is that I noticed earlier in the Q&A section that there were a lot of good practices coming forward, resources and examples of good work, in addition to the questions that were coming forward. So this is really an opportunity to bring together the collective experience and knowledge of faith communities and communities more broadly from every country and region in the world, which is, I mean, it's really a remarkable opportunity. We've got 4 decades of experience doing this, and we can really share and build together with each other. Are there others in this group of the organizers who would like to share some of your reflections on why this matters, what's important about this work and what we've done here the last couple of days?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think, I mean, what these 3 days, I mean, I remember Naritsai's comment that we need to go beyond faith leaders. And so it's important to her observation that all of us are leaders. We have young people, women, lay people, so that we need to provide the platform for the communities to take on leadership positions. So the faith communities have a very combined responsibility for that. And number 2, I think what has been so important is actually the voices of the people of the communities, and they have challenged. And I think there was also a word I remember that the faith communities need to be empowered, because many of the communities are already empowered. So we need to approach the communities who are going through it on our knees with humility and accept communities who are marginalized, and see the divine and the great inspiration that they provide. So we are together, equal in the eyes of God, and so this is a great opportunity, I think, to learn and to move ahead, and knowing that we need to move ahead together, especially in this situation where we are being slowed down by various pandemics. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And I do see that. Sorry. Let's go. Please go ahead, Michael, and then I'll make another comment from the screen. Over to you.
Thank you, Laura, and hello, everyone. I just wanted to say one of the things that I consistently heard throughout the 3 days were conversations about stigma and discrimination. And I think it's one of the primary ways in which faith communities can be involved. But it's also one of the most challenging, because to do stigma and discrimination work effectively, we have to be with people who are having lived experiences. And we have to be able to be in those spaces with an attitude of non-judgment, to hear and stand in solidarity and accompany people, because those are the ways in which we communicate the value of compassion. And it's the way in which we're able to help people get connected to relationships, and relationships are the way in which people connect to services. If we can engage people and help to form those kinds of relationships that are based on trust and non-judgment, we can go a long way in reaching the targets that we've set for ourselves. But it is hard work, and we need our solidarity to do it together. We need to be with each other in these kinds of forums, and we need to also be present in our community with people who are having lived experiences, and to be there without a sense of judgment. I think it's really key, and I think it's something that we can do.
Michael, thank you. And your commitment to those areas is longstanding. So your remarks are even more meaningful. Thank you. George, over to you. And I think this may be our last comment, not to put any pressure on you, but the floor is yours.
I just want to have us think about the interfaith work we have accomplished this week. It is incredible to work with multiple faith groups, and this is how we're going to address stigma and how we're going to address the prevention and care of people living with HIV. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone, especially the international community, that is working to do this very hard work.
George, thank you. I couldn't agree more. And I understand that Brian, oh, Brian, there you, I see you now on the screen. Okay, I'm going to give the last word to you, and then I'll make a quick advertising plug and we'll move on to the final part of our agenda. Brian, over to you.
Sorry for being the last to speak. So for me, it's more of what I've learned biggest, especially being part of this committee, is engaging young people is one thing, but giving young people the space to speak and be creative and to make decisions is the most amazing milestone you can ever make. And this is so evident in what you've already done so far. And the biggest thing I've seen is that there's need for joint effort from every part and extending this beyond the religious angle and just working with different people in the community. And that means leaving nobody behind, and there's nothing for us without other young people. So thank you so much for this platform, and I've learned so much from it too. Back to you.
Brian, thank you, and thank you for representing young people so well. I think we always strive to do better and have more young people's voices centered, and you've really helped us with that, so thank you. So the advertisement is not really an advertisement, but I wanted to let everyone know that the commitment and all of the prayers and the website are now online, available to you to access. And we do hope that you will sign the pledge and share it widely. And then I also just wanted to say thank you to Namibia and Nigeria for expressing support in the comments. And I hope that that's just the tip of the iceberg. And I apologize if I've forgotten any other country names that may have shown up in that chat. So as we move to the end of this session together, what comes next are we'll have a series of prayers on renewal and the urgency to act, and those will be shared by Imam Abdul Aziz, resident Imam from Al Masjido Adam Community Life Center for Human Excellence, and I was trying to see what country, but it's not listed here. After that, sorry for that digression. After that, we'll hear from Rabbi Denise Eager, Congregation of Kol Ami, past president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis, and from Esther Mombo, professor, St. Paul University in Kenya. Those prayers will be followed by closing remarks by our Deputy Executive Director at UNAIDS, Dr. Shannon Hayter, by Sandra Thurman, Chief Strategy Officer, Office of the U.S. Global AIDS Coordinator and Health Diplomacy at the U.S. Department of State, and by Monsignor Robert Vitillo, the Secretary General of the International Catholic Migration Commission and Health Attaché at the Permanent Observer Mission at the Holy See at the UN. And finally, to close this and pull us all together, will be one last song by the Angel City Choral, the Army Foundation Choir, and conducted by Richard Mboveni. This is a combination of a choir from Los Angeles and from Cape Town, South Africa. And with that, I will sign off and say thank you, and we will turn to the prayers. Everyone be well.